As we study March to the Cloud, one of the concerns we have is how do I take all this on-premise data, applications, operating systems, how do I get all that stuff to reside in Azure? There are a few different ways, and in the past, those ways have historically not been easy, very messy, and time-consuming. Microsoft now has a tool that can do all of this for us. Azure Migrate. You could use Azure Migrate to migrate your on-premise workloads. Now, we could use this with applications, virtual machines, databases, those types of things. You could use this one tool and it can migrate all this different types of content up to Azure. Pretty straightforward tool to use. The benefits of this, single migration platform using a single tool. Now, the main components of this, we have the server assessment. A server assessment will actually examine your environment. So this can look for Hyper-V. It'll find all your Hyper-V virtual machines. If you have VMware, Citrix, it can find these different types of virtual machines, various types of database applications, and it can assess if they are cloud ready or if you need to make changes to these to actually migrate. So it gives you a lot of tools to help you with that. Now, if you are migrating some non-Microsoft products like VMware or Citrix, you would also get guidance from them. You'd go to the VMware website or the Citrix website, and you would find like a checklist or best practices. Some other tools that would help you with that is what I would always recommend for these non-Microsoft products. The other component is the server migration, which actually migrates from my on-premise server up to Azure, and now your workloads, apps, VMs, they all run in Azure, and you could decommission, completely remove those from your on-premise environment. Now, this can work with server operating systems, various types of databases, web apps, virtual desktops, if we're using any type of virtual desktop infrastructure. That could be VMware, Citrix, and even data, like file servers. Or maybe not even entire file servers, maybe just like a share on a file server. We can have all that content completely migrated over. Now, some of this you can have synchronized, like file shares. You can have them synchronized so they coexist in both places. If you no longer want the on-premise version, you can effectively shut that off and you just connect to it in the cloud. Depends on what your needs actually are. Now, nothing in Azure is free. So to use Azure Migrate, you will have to have an Azure subscription to actually do that. But this will become one of the more commonly used tools to get content up to Azure from the on-premise environment.